Everybody mute themselves right now, except for, there we go. All right, okay. So welcome to Redox Nurse Talk. I'm Doria Stewart, registered nurse here from Atlanta, Georgia, and I have my business partner, Cindy Reed from Nashville. She's also a registered nurse. And we're independent associates with a global research cellular health company called ASEA. And our company has the only space of having the only cell signaling molecules in the world. We have their platform. Our mission is to educate people on this amazing technology, which is a gift of hope. And we're hoping that if it's your first time with us this evening, that you'll certainly get back to the person that invited you on the call this evening, so you can hear more about it. And so what you're about to hear is not intended to treat, diagnose, or cure anything. And each week we have the honor to have a guest that's had some great benefits from our technology. And Cindy will be introducing Tammy Garcia after we see a few videos. And you can have the opportunity to put some questions in the chat as she's speaking, so that we can answer those at the end of her interview. What we like to do is, instead of us sharing about what Redox is that we like to show you some videos. And the very first one we'd like to show you is where it all got started. And that's with our Genesis story. And then we'll show you a video on what is redox signaling molecules. So I'm gonna let Cindy take it from here, because she's got the control of sharing that video.
Thank you, Doria. Let me share my screen and we will get started. Like Doria said, this is how ASEA got started initially. And it's mind-blowing what they turned down. So just pay attention to that.
I grew up in Salt Lake City, Utah. I took a degree from the University of Utah, managed some stores for Safeway, and then ended up going to work for General Foods Corporation. I was asked to sit on the board of a small company that had been working on a technology for about 15 years.
The video
Numerous
has
patents,
stopped.
a lot of research, and they were actually producing a product using salt and water. And when they told me that, they wanted me to go on their board. I said, well, you're going to have to convince me that this is real. How can you produce something from salt and water? And they said, we have a lot of research, extensive research, $10 or $15 million worth of research.
Virtus agreed to join the board of directors.
So I went to the first board meeting and found out that they were flat out of money. They were $1 million in debt. We said, let's see if we can help them find money. We tried for about 90 days, could not. Eventually the company folded, and they actually merged it with another company, an energy company. And when that happened, that company started selling off assets. And I said, I am going to put a group of investors together and I'm going to take a run at the company. And over the course of a year, we discovered what the product was and why it worked. We developed what's called the mechanism of action.
They discovered the product was based on redox biochemistry, a new field of science that emerged near the beginning of the 21st century. Redox signaling is a function central to all forms of life. Redox signaling molecules are created within every cell of the body and are vital to the immune system and to cellular repair and replace mechanisms. As one gets older, the body's ability to make these molecules decreases, a function of aging. The product provided a replenishing source of the exact redox signaling molecules the body creates, and in the same balance, enhancing cellular health. Knowing the product's shelf life was essential, Virtus challenged a team of researchers, including Dr. Gary Samuelson, to find a way to stabilize the product.
And finally, after months, he finally came in and said, I think I've got the product stabilized. And we started testing it and found out that he had, in fact, stabilized the product.
After stabilization had been achieved, Virtus met with a group of university scientists.
This is stabilized redox signaling molecules, both positive and negative molecules in the same bottle, stabilized. And they said, how in the world did you do this? So one of the big breakthroughs is the fact that we can stabilize molecules that you're not supposed to be able to do that. The molecules in ASEA are supposed to be fleeting. They should all return to salt and water in just a matter of minutes, and they don't. So we decided to find 40 people and create kind of a focus group, and we started giving it to them. We did that for about 2 months, and we said, let's go out and find out where we are with these 40 people. So when we went out and contacted them, we found out that the 40 people had turned into 135, and the product had been shipped to 20 different countries. But in the meantime, we had contacted a friend, and he was running a very big pharmaceutical company in New Jersey, about $10, $11 billion. And he finally agreed to send a group of people out and spend some time with us and see what we had come up with. So 4 people flew out on a plane. We spread out all of the research that we had out on a table. They started getting on the phone about noon back east, and they kept doing that, and about 2 o'clock they walked in the room and said, okay, we're convinced you've got something here, and it's significant enough that we will write you a check big enough that you won't want to talk to anybody else. And I said, what's the catch? And they said, you've got to shut it down. And I said, shut what down? And they said, you've got 135 people on this product right now, shut it down. People have problems all the time, and they deal with them as best they can. You're going to have to walk away. And that kind of took us back a little bit. In fact, I said, that seems a little harsh to me. And they said, you want to work with us, you walk away.
ASEA LLC opened its doors for business in July 2009 with just a handful of independent associates. Today, there are tens of thousands, and their ranks are growing exponentially every month. In 2012, the company announced its entry into Europe, the first of many international steps to come.
My wife questions why I'm doing this. She said, you've retired more than once, and it's time for you to join me, and let's enjoy the golden years, if you will. But recently, a young lady came up, and she broke down and started sobbing. And she had a health challenge in her family that was really severe, and she was introduced to ASEA. And because of what ASEA did, she was just grateful. So I find it hard to talk about, but that's a reason. Salt Lake City, Utah. I took a degree.
Sorry. Okay, let's go on. The next video is one by Dr. Mark DeBrincat, and he explains the technology very simply, but still it gets into the science, so it's very interesting. So let me share that one.
Today I want to talk about signaling molecules in the body. First of all, signaling molecules in the human body are doing so many things that we just take for granted. And they're determining how easily your body can stay at homeostasis and have the ability to adapt to things that are coming into your body, sometimes unexpectedly. So the first part of signaling molecules, we're going to talk about the brain. So the brain is using signaling molecules to release and to transfer all of the happy hormones and neurotransmitters that are going on in your brain, like dopamine and serotonin and norepinephrine. And so they're dependent on signaling molecules to send and drive those neurotransmitters from one part of the brain to the next and to share information throughout the brain. So your entire nervous system is using signaling molecules to send information down the nerves, and from jumping from one nerve to the next, it's using signaling molecules in order to transfer that information. So our nervous system, which is our most important system in the body, is absolutely dependent on signaling molecules. The next thing I want to talk about is hormones. So we have over 50 hormones in the body that we've identified, and they are actually released and then stopped by a signaling molecule. It'll hit a receptor site and say, hey, I need some of this hormone, please start releasing it. And then another signaling molecule will come in, hit a receptor and say, we've had enough, time to turn that off. And we all know how delicate our hormones can be, and if we're not at homeostasis, we can have all sorts of health problems. Outside of hormones, we have digestive enzymes. We have 3 main enzymes to break down proteins, to break down fats, and to break down sugars. The release of these enzymes are dependent on signaling molecules, again, to communicate when I need and how much I need of these digestive enzymes. So 75% of all your energy every day is used just on digestion. So we want to make sure that those signaling molecules are working the job correctly. Outside of that, we have our immunity. Your central nervous system is tied directly to your immune system. And that immune system is the first response to threats and to anything that could cause harm to you. And we want those signaling molecules to work quickly. And we want the body to respond fast and to be able to return us to homeostasis from any invaders or any toxins or chemicals or things that shouldn't be in our body. It's our immune response and that inflammation response that, again, is all dependent on signaling molecules to get the job done. Then we talk about circulation. The entire lining of your vascular system has the square foot of larger than a soccer field. Now imagine that soccer field has shag carpet in it. That shag carpet is your glycocalyx, and that's the part of the lining on the inside of all your vascular system that has signaling molecules in it that is responsible for letting oxygen and nutrients through and pushing toxins back out into the blood. Not only that, those signaling molecules in the vascular system, they can tag stuff going by that shouldn't be there for removal or repair if it's injured. And so again, signaling molecules is absolutely every aspect of our vascular system to be able to communicate and function well and get the most out of our blood. Now that same glycocalyx that lines our entire vascular system, we have a really thick one that lines our brain called the blood-brain barrier, and we have another thick one that's our gut barrier. So that's the actual absorption of nutrients and food or molecules that the food is broken down to into your system. And of course, your blood-brain barrier is one of the most important ones because it needs to protect and keep all things that could harm our brain out of our brain. So that is so many reasons and so many aspects of why signaling molecules are so important in our body. But I'm going to leave you with one more that's just going to go way deeper. The inside of every one of your 100 trillion cells is filled with the fluid called signaling molecules that are literally driving the function of that cell. All the amazing things that happens inside a cell needs the signaling molecules to do so. Now here's the thing. As we age, we produce 10% less of these signaling molecules every decade. Now we're producing trillions of them every second, and within 100th of a second, we're using all of them. So this has never been anything that we could store for more when we need more. Now, for the first time ever, we have a company that has cracked the code. They figured out how to produce and how to stabilize signaling molecules outside the human body. This was an absolute miracle, and it's doing so much good in the world. For, as I mentioned, as we age, we're losing the ability to produce more. Now we have a supplement that can fill in that gap and help return our cells to actual functioning cells of our youth. Now that is the key to longevity, is getting to principal parts of healing. So we have a supplement now that is not a nutrient to build your new cells, but it's an actual supplement filled with workers for your nervous system that are going to take and send and share information throughout your body to help manage all of the things that I just spoke of. Now, it will take about 8 weeks of consuming this product to get you back to those youthful years. So I encourage you, if you've never heard about signaling molecules, well, now you have. And if you've never tried them, get back to the person that shared this video with you and figure out what it's going to take to get you started and to help turn your life around to that younger, more youthful, more vibrant nervous system and cellular energy and physical body that you've had in your younger years. So I hope this was very informative to you, and I hope you have a great day. Bye now.
I just love how Dr. Mark takes something very complicated as far as the redox signaling technology and simplifies it, especially with pictures. So, like Doria mentioned, put your questions in the chat for Tammy and she can answer those either as we go along or at the end of the interview. But we are so honored to have Tammy Garcia with us tonight. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about Tammy, and then we're going to ask her a lot of questions and get her testimony as far as the results she's had. So Tammy lives in Waco, Texas, but she was born in Astoria, Oregon. She has 3 amazing sons, and they're married with children, so she has 5 grandchildren. And she's learned to let go and have fun with the grandchildren. Life is totally different when you have grandchildren from your children. It's almost like you wish God would give you the grandchildren first.
That's right.
Yeah, but she currently works for a company in their accounting payable department. And so Tammy's always been interested in entrepreneurship, and the blue bottle basically got her attention. And so after seeing what it's done for her health challenges, she says she won't ever be without it. So Tammy, tell us what or how you were introduced to this technology and what was going on with you at the time.
So at the time, I was intrigued by the blue bottle in the window, seriously, at work. And one rainy day, we weren't doing anything. And I said, what is that? I ended up at a workshop and got to taste the Redox liquid, saw the stability test with the gel, went through, all the science, but didn't understand a bit about it. But on the way home, I was like, I felt so good, not nervous, not, anxious. I was like, this is where I'm supposed to be. I've done some different things. One of them was a supplement, and you just know when things are right and when you're being pushed into something. And so after that, I took it and I became a little sick, and I thought that's what it was, and I quit taking it. And my upline says, no, just hang on a little longer, cut your dose back a little bit, and come back up with it. So I did. And I found out, I had been going to the doctor and getting multiple prescriptions every single month, over and over and over. And when I finally sat down and really started taking the Redox, one by one, those medications went away and I didn't need them anymore. So I was really impressed with that. And I started sharing it. My neighbor, she had some difficulties. And so I shared it with her, and she was really enjoying it. And of course, she came across the point where it wasn't important, and that was okay. So I just kept on going. And, one of the biggest, I don't know, moments was when I started taking the self-performance mind. For some people like me, I read backwards. I see things different. Words or numbers get mixed up and jumbled. I know, craziest place to be in the accounting department, but that's where I am. And I started taking the mind just so I could focus. And there was one project I could never, ever understand. I couldn't wrap around it. I could never get my mind around it. It was difficult. It made me very angry. I was taking the mind I've been taking it probably 5 days. And a little bit got easier with all my other work. So one day came, I had to have that project done. And it was a lot of moving parts. It was a lot of moving numbers, and I couldn't make a mistake. So I attacked it. And lo and behold, when I came out of that, it was accomplished. It was done. It was done correctly. And I was so proud of myself, because nobody in that office knows. They don't know what the reason I don't see things right. I can understand when people talk to me backwards. So that was one of the biggest moments right there.
That's pretty amazing. So before anyone else puts this in the chat, how much were you drinking at that time?
So I started out with just the 4 ounces, maybe 6 ounces, but on a budget. I knew how much I could take. So it was, starting out at 4. And remember, this is back in 2019. So there was some other things going on as well. But I wasn't as phased as bad with those after I was on the Redox.
Have you seen other things improve, Tammy, as you've been on for a longer period of time? Because that's been what, almost 5 years now, or over 5 years.
Yes, I'm on my 5th year now. So just the brain fog is so much better. I had lost weight. And then, I get used to cooking and eating. I'm not gonna lie, I do love cooking. So some of the weights came back and I'm not as active as I should be, but we were hiking. We have 25 acres here. So we had horses and we had some cattle. We had a garden at one time. There was just a lot going on and we could keep up with all of it. So now we're just a little bit more relaxed. Let's put it that way, relaxed. So coming on with our ASEA Gold that I got,
Tell us about that.
so I was a gymnast back in the day. And so there was a lot of floor routines, there was vaults and the bars. So after that, I was in horseback riding. And if anybody horseback rides, there's a lot of ramming and jamming on your back, and gymnastic does the same thing. So my back has become where it's very painful, very low. So mopping, sweeping, and standing over the sink because I'm 5'10", I'm tall. It hurts and it hurts bad. So as soon as we got it, because I had been busy getting ready for, the cold weather, I was like, put this on my back and put this on my hip. I do have inflammation in my hip and some of the other stuff in there. So I put it on and we were sitting there watching a movie probably. And I was like, I got up and I was like, I didn't have to use my hands so much and I could use my legs. And it was really, not all at once, because I applied it twice and I could actually move my hips back and forth and it didn't hurt anymore. And I could actually even go the next day as far as my legs were tired and giving out before my back stopped on me. So I was very, very happy with that I can, get up and go. And now that helps with losing the weight. Now you can get up and go and your back won't hurt. So I was very impressed with that.
Tammy, after you put that on the first time, did you have to reapply it the next day?
I did not.
Did you not?
I was great the next day. That was on a Sunday. We got up and still had, more things to finish. We had some more faucets to turn on and turn off and wrap up and cow water to, get ready. So I didn't. And actually, I think it wasn't till the very coldest day here, which was yesterday. I didn't reapply it till yesterday.
That's pretty amazing.
And I don't know, is anybody, well, I won't say it, but people that text a lot, typewriter people as well,
Right.
where it hurts your hands. My left hand had really become where I just wanted to just lay it. I use my right hand more, but it hurt. It's, when you can't open a jar or a cap, or it even hurts to turn the round doorknob. So I've been using that on my hand probably every other day. And I can open the jar. Yesterday I had to open a jar. It was a jar of my canned beets. And I could actually do it and didn't have the pain and just was able to do it. And that's one thing that is very beneficial when you get older. It's like, we lose our back, our hands, and our feet.
That's true. Tammy, how do you share this with people? When you meet someone, whether it's a stranger or if you want to share it with a friend, how do you approach them?
So I really don't meet any strangers. I like talking to people. I'm a real social person. So, when I see somebody that's in a little bit of discomfort or they're like, I've been using this, it's not working anymore, whatever. And I'll say, I have something I believe will help you. Are you interested? Would you like to see it? And I always carry a little tube around with me. And that's one way. I have a friend that saw something from somebody else's post about eyes. And she said she'd been taking the gel. And she said, Tammy, what about that for your eyes? Can you put that in your eyes? And I said, yes, you can. So I got a little dropper and stopped off and gave it to her. And that reminds me, I need to get her some more. So she's not drinking it, the liquid Redox yet. I know she's interested. It's just one of those things that she's just kind of working into, understanding it. And I sent her the science, and I don't know if she's on tonight or not. So other than that, it's just between me and then my husband as well. You know, he was taking the Radiance and he was having troubles with his knees. And so that he got to where he was walking better, but he did have a bout where he had to go to the doctor, and they said no, it's not torn, because he's been putting the Renew 28 on it. Now he's putting the gold. She said, but it's inflammation, or you have a tumor back there. So he's going to go get that checked out, but it hasn't been hurting him. So that's a win-win.
That is a win. When you share with people, okay, say before this came out, before we got the gold, when you shared with people, how receptive were most people?
So the Renew 28, I would always, do a stability test, and that would really wow them. There was a couple other things that they were trying it for, and like one of them was scar tissue, and that would diminish some. So that was a real win for one of the girls that was using the Redox gel. Other than that, it's like I was putting that on my hands too before the gold came out, and kept applying it on. So just, whether they see me doing it or I offer it to them, say, why don't you try this?
Well, I know with the Renew 28, we did use that a lot for people with discomfort. It was designed as a skincare, but we discovered that it could be used for discomfort. And some people would have results and some would not. But with this, I've been told, and from the ones I've put it on so far, I just got mine Saturday. Yeah. So far, they're saying 100% of the people are getting results. Now, again, it may take a couple of applications. It may take up to 15 minutes is what I'm hearing. Some are instantaneously. So what will this do for our business? What do you think about the
Oh, the
gold?
Redox Gold,
Mhm.
being that it works and it's direct. That's, one of the things that I let them know, that this is direct, and that soothing. I don't know if it's so much soothing. I think it's more the relief. And I don't say rejuvenate with it, because it is probably rejuvenating, but it's more direct. It's not going to be a rod, where you can put it on your neck and it's going to suck it up or something. It's not like that. It's more, there's a couple words you can't use. I was fixing to use one, but we're going
It's
to say
hard.
it's more direct and a lot more extensive on that. Being that it's got the gold in it, that's the catalyst for it to even further help that redox, and just keep it goes further. Let's put further.
I think the word you may have been looking for earlier was targeted. It's targeted to a specific area for a specific thing, like discomfort,
Yes.
inflammation. We can say those words, I think. Um, yeah, this is going to be a game changer. It really is going to open doors. And a lot of people say, well, we've always been told with the Renew 28, the gel, don't mix it with metal, don't let it touch metal. This is different because, like you said, it's a molecular gold. In other words, it's a stable gold. It will not interact with anything. So if you had ever had chemistry class, you had to learn the elements on the periodic table. On the right-hand column, you had the noble, right hand, it's been too long, see the right or left. You had the noble, the noble gases. So that meant they did not have that extra electron hanging out there where they would bond with something. This does not have, it's stable. It cannot bond with anything and form a molecule or form another compound. So that's the cool part. And it literally has gold in it. I mean, this is mind blowing. This should probably be a lot more than it is, but it's worth even more than that for what it's doing for people. So I think we're really going to see a lot of expansion, explosion with this, with people getting major results and sharing as well. And you can carry it with you, like you said. You can buy a sample tube, or you can get a big tube and carry it with you. It should be in your first aid kit for sure,
Yes.
especially if you work out. Go ahead.
Did you see where they have changed the date where you will be able to get that on your order February 6th?
I saw that. That's awesome. It's still not early
It
enough,
is.
but but still.
It's coming quick. It's coming quick. I know we had to wait a couple weeks before we could get it too. So
Yeah, I get it. Okay, Doria, I'm going to turn it over to you. That's all the questions I have at this point, and let you take it from here. And again, if anyone has questions, just put them in the chat for Tammy.
Okay, so I have a few comments. So, we were talking about the ASEA Redox, which is broad spectrum, and it's our foundational product. And that's what, Tammy has taken when she talks about taking 4 to 6 ounces. Now, were you taking 4 to 6 ounces per day, or was that like twice a day?
that was per day, 4 to
Per
6
day.
ounces per day.
Okay, awesome.
I didn't
And
pay
then,
attention when they said, if you're not feeling any better or you're not seeing any results, up that. Yeah, I didn't pay attention to that part. So we need to make sure everybody knows that you can take more.
yeah, well, I love what Dr. D. Brincat, we had him on in October, and he was saying even if you take 2 ounces twice a day, it may take a little longer for you to see the effects. And of course, it's always important to be on a healthy diet, not be sitting on the sofa and watching TV and eating Cheetos. He said even a bad diet and taking 2 ounces twice a day will make the process a little bit longer as well. But if you're on a good, healthy diet, drink lots of water, you're going to see the effects. But upping the dose, I think the study was for those that were over, I guess in their 30s or something. If they took like 4 ounces twice a day, that was like the sweet spot, so to speak. You talked about the cell performance. So those that are on the Zoom tonight, if this is your first time, that is not a Redox singly molecule product, but they do have targeted benefits. And I love what you talked about, the Redox Mind doing that for you. What a wonderful benefit that was for you to be able to experience that.
That really was, and I don't think we really give enough credit to those cell performance. We were saying use mine for school kids or when you're taking a test, but I'm telling you, when people and same goes with the mood, there's a lot of older people that could really use that as well. All of them. So I think that's a good start. There's a real good base there, and I'm sure we're going to do some more building with it.
Yes, yes. You also, I think you mentioned about the mood. You also take the mood, and then you do the energy as well, and the radiance. So what you were just talking about, this wonderful product that's debuting, or that people will be able to order on February 6th. We know that is, like Cindy so eloquently said, is targeted, to one area. Tell us about the culture of the company. What has that meant to you?
Oh my goodness. So, I've walked out of companies that just had no ethics, no morals. And you see that more and more with it companies going bigger into corporation. And that's one thing that when I met, from associates, all at our meetings or like here on a Zoom, to our, CEOs, COs, CFOs, they're all so great. They'll speak to you. They don't treat you any different than, the next person over. And what they do, they do for us. And this is, I've said this from company to company. If you'll take care of your people, the lowest people, all the way up, they will always take care of you. And that's where we're at, being with the MLM. When we're taking care of we're taking care of them as well. And they respect us, and they respect, Alan Noble or Scott, Frank, all those on the different boards, the medical board. They listen to you to say, this isn't quite right, or I'm loving this. They're taking all that data. And, when we have scientists all over the world and they do that to make sure The product is what it is. There, you can't ask for anything better than that.
Yeah, I think I remember you doing a video. I think was it on the Cell Performance Mind? I think I saw it at ASEA Global. Yeah, a lot of people need to go and search that out as a really good testimony, just like you're giving, this evening. Do you also use the skincare?
I do. I do. And I have had, people say, I want to get that because your skin's really pretty. And that makes you even, take it more or put it on more. I wasn't very consistent with it as well till I saw that it was really doing some major work. And when I seen a lady that last year she looked beautiful, this year it's like the stress lines just came all over her face, and I'm like, what happened? And she's on the Redox liquid now. She said, I'm going to get on that skincare. So she said, and I was like, oh, great idea. That is great.
This is the first time I've actually seen you. I want to say I haven't seen you since it's probably been about 2 years. I think it's the last time I saw you. And when you first came on the Zoom this evening, I'm thinking, wow, you definitely look, younger than when the last time I saw you. And that's the truth. That's not what is it? That's when they touch up your face or whatever. It's not any of that. It's truly what you look like.
I think we all three do too.
Yeah.
I really do. And I was like, wow, you got your hair cut. I mean, it's just amazing. You can really tell the people that take Redox.
Yeah, she can. It's neat. What would so you talked about all the wonderful health benefits of all our products, and can you share a little bit why people should look at this as a business opportunity?
That's a very good question. I didn't want to have nothing to do with the business. I didn't understand the science. From the other companies that I'd been in, they didn't teach real well. And it was just like, just do it. Open the yellow book or the telephone book and call people, get people to sign up. And I couldn't do it until I realized we're not selling the product. It's itself. People really want to be healthy. The mindsets now are really changing. We don't push. I've never pushed, and I've always asked people, am I a pushy person? And am I telling you to buy this? I don't want to be that person. And I never have been, and I never will be. It's like, is this something that you'd be interested in? And it really, you can say business, but it's one of those, the old saying goes, when you're happy doing it, it's not work. It's, you're building a business, but you don't have to work at it. It's not something that you have to push people into. They'll come if they want to come. If they don't, that's fine.
Yeah, it's a mission. It's actually exciting and fun to do, a lot better than going in and stamping a clock clock every day for sure, and you have more freedom to do what you want to do, and
Oh, definitely. And it's nice you can take a vacation and you're talking about Redox, or you can go to a restaurant and you talk about Redox. That all comes off your taxes. It's a win-win.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Tammy. That was wonderful. I loved your testimony. I'm going to hand it over to you, Miss Cindy. You're muted.
Sorry about that. I was looking in the chat. Someone asked about where the video can be found. I'm not sure if they're talking about Dr. Mark's video or this one tonight. This one tonight will be uploaded to the YouTube channel, and you just go and search the little @ symbol, Redox Nurse Talk. Dr. DeBrincat's, you can just Google Dr. DeBrincat with the Sia. He actually has 2 or 3 out there, usually 5 to 7 minutes long. So there's several different ones out there, and they're all very good.
Yeah, I did post the video that you showed this evening. I put that in the chat.
Okay, good.
Yeah. And then I also put down the date of when he was on Redox Nurse Talk as well.
Good. I'm glad you had that stuff handy. I don't have the date he was on there. I think that's it. I don't have any more questions. Doria, you want to tell us about our next or what next week will look like?
Yeah, so sure. So we're really excited as we've been hinting around about and showing you a little glimpse of this tube that both Cindy and Tammy have shown on Zoom. This is a next generation redox technology that has rapid and targeted benefits. So we thought what we would do next week is have some people, invite some people to our Zoom that have experienced the renewed the Redox Gold. And so that'll be next Tuesday. We have, I guess, a total of three or four people. But if you've had experience with the Redox Gold, please reach out to Cindy or myself, and we'd love to hear from you. So we'll just have a panel of people sharing about the products. So we thank you for being on this evening. And again, if this is your first time being on, please get back to the person that invited you to the Zoom. And then again, this is uploaded to Redox Nurse Talk is our handle on YouTube. Thank you.
And I just want to thank you ladies for having me. It's really nice when you can come on and share, because not all the time we get to share our testimonies or stories or, seeing everybody, and just thank everybody for coming on here. I appreciate it.
Tammy, we thank you for spending your time with us tonight, because I know time is valuable and you don't get that time back. So thank you for sharing with us with your testimony.
Definitely loved it and love to come back.
Go ahead.